Hey guys, welcome back to Deadman 1010 and welcome to another review video of, well, a wrestling show. This time it's Clash at the Castle that happened last weekend at the time of recording this, last Saturday. And my thoughts on the show, let me just get my orange guys, there we go. My thoughts on the show, it was a very, very great show, and of course it took place in Cardiff, Wales in the UK, which meant that it was an easy watch for yours truly. So I was able to catch it live, so yeah, that was nice. And it was nice that I got to do it in the comforts of my own house too, considering that the premium live event that I saw live was the one, which was SummerSlam, and obviously had to see that in the hospital, unfortunately. But either way, enough said. Point is, it was a great show, and yeah, we're going to talk about, some of the stuff that happened at Raw, like last night, but more to the point, talk about the winners, what I thought of the feud, how great the matches were, and where we'll go from here, and at the same time talk about some of the stuff that happened at Raw that will closely link with this. So you'll find out what those pieces are come when I elaborate on them. So we're going to use Kicking with Ross's video to help us out with that. The original link to his video will be in the description box below, so you can catch that at your own leisure along with the normal stuff that you'll find in my subscription box or description box, like the links to my Discord and then a few YouTube channels from some Discord friends. But either way, you guys know the drill. So let's get stuck into this.
What's good, Joshua Ross? Back again with another video. So, I'm gonna be giving my thoughts and opinions on Clash at the Castle this year. I must say, in my opinion, this is probably one of the better pay-per-views all year for WWE. Honestly, I love SummerSlam was actually pretty solid, but I love WrestleMania Night One. WrestleMania Night One was fantastic. Honestly, this may be
Yeah, this is probably my third favorite premium live event this year. Was the one we just had, Clash at the Castle. Very, very great premium live event.
up there with WrestleMania Night One as one of the best pay-per-views WWE has put on all year. This was fantastic. It had some issues that some things I will address as I talk about it, but overall, the show was great. I enjoyed this from top to bottom. And shout out to all the UK subscribers and everyone that was there in attendance. The UK crowd, they did not disappoint. All 64,000 of you guys showed up, showed out, and made that show.
Yeah, that made me proud to know that the UK fans were really, really rowdy for this and were really, really loving it as well. Like, as me who's a UK person, it makes me really, really proud. But it also makes me wish that I was there live in attendance. But at the very least, it makes me proud. You know? So I'm very, very happy with that.
Even better. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that was there. Thank you to everyone that was in our live stream on the In the Clutch page, man. It was just a great time. So we got to get into my thoughts and opinions on the different matches. Now I know we missed the pre-show, but we caught like the tail end of the pre-show. I think I want to say that
To be fair, I didn't even realize that there was a pre-show match because I got told that there wasn't going to be, but apparently there was, and that was straight Profits versus Alpha Academy, which from what I've seen, which really is not a lot, I imagine that they would have hit it out the ballpark, because they tend to have pretty decent matches. I mean, like Alpha Academy and Street Profits. I don't know what more you were really expecting. Feud I can't remember seeing much of, but don't think it was too bad. And where we'll go from here, I mean, I think they ended up having a match on Monday Night Raw, but obviously, as you guys know, the Monster of Men, Braun Strowman, reared his head once again in WWE and obviously disturbed the peace of that match. So, I can't remember for the life of me whether they were having a tag team match of that kind, but because obviously the headline was Braun Strowman returning. But personally, I don't see a lot happening with them two going against each other, those two tag teams, Street Profits and Alpha Academy. Now that we've had that pre-show match, I don't see a lot more happening in that feud. It's not even like it's a big feud either. So, there you go.
That the Street Profits and Madcap Moss they teamed up with Austin Theory and Alpha Academy, and the Street Profits.
Oh, Madcap Moss was on the side of Street Profits, and then Theory was on the side of Alpha Academy. So it was a 6-man tag team match, basically. But yeah, I digress. Like I said, I imagine that the match itself in question wasn't horrible. So, there you go. I can't really say my opinions on it because I don't remember seeing merely any of it, to be honest.
Profits won, but we caught the end of that. But just catching the end of it in the crowd, how hyped they were for the pre-show, let me know that the main show was going to be great. So, I didn't catch that match, but we're going to talk about everything that happened on the main card. Let's get right into it with the first match.
Yeah, that's really what we're going to talk about, guys. It's really the main card, as we always do. So, there you go.
To start off the show, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss versus.
So, the first match. So, we have Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair. Well, not versus, but teaming up with the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair and the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, to take down the threat of Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley with their new faction. And this was a very, very great match. Like I said in my predictions video, that did end up flopping in the end, which is why I never got uploaded. So sorry about that, guys. But like I was trying to. Sorry about that cough, guys. But yeah, like I was trying to say in my predictions video. Yeah, so I figured that this match was going to be the perfect opener, and it damn well was. That match was freaking awesome. Great action. The fans were absolutely hilarious. Michael Cole was biased as out. It was a fun time. It was really, really a fun time. I enjoyed that match a lot. Feud was kind of whatever, but I think where we'll go from here is, well, Bayley's faction will continue to run roughshod, and I guess Bianca, Bliss, and Asuka will try to stop them, I guess? I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, I think they've tried to go at the women's tag team titles, Bayley's faction. I think that's what they've done, as far as Raw is concerned, but I've not watched that clip yet. I do plan on watching the full show at some stage, but maybe later today or something. But either way, that's what I believe they were doing from what the thumbnail suggested from that YouTube clip. So there you go. That's apparently what they're doing. So they're kind of running roughshod, but I don't really know, but that's what I would like to occur, you know, after this match, obviously. But yeah, the match was amazing. Solid, 6, 7, 8 out of 10, I would say.
Is Control, that's their name. Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. This
Oh, okay, so they're called Damage Control. Thank God I now know that. Because, yeah. Also, I was going to have a tough time trying to articulate their faction. So, I'm glad they actually have a faction name now. That's nice. That helps me all out. That helps me out a lot with these videos. A lot.
match was a solid opener. The crowd was very hot. I love the fact that the UK crowd started doing the Bailey chant that they usually do, and it was crazy because Bailey had no other choice but to play into her character, and she was trying to tell the crowd to shut up. Anytime Bailey got in the match or was involved, they were singing it throughout the entire match, and that's the one thing I can say about you guys that was in attendance. Y'all kept the energy for the most part of the show. But y'all kept y'all energy, and I love that. This match was very enjoyable.
Yeah, it was very, very easy to hear what the crowd had to say. The crowd was amazing. Like, needless to say, that UK crowd really, really did me and a lot of the other UK people that didn't get to see it live and in living colour proud. Very, very proud. Because they were rabid for anything that happened on that show. It was easy to hear whatever they were doing, which is amazing. Because sometimes with crowds, it's never like that. Like, sometimes I can never really hear what they're saying, because, like, it's hard to articulate, but most of the time, it was extremely easy to figure it out, and I'm so glad that that's the case. So proud of those UK fans. They killed it.
They were able to keep the crowd going. It was the first match of the main card. And the one thing I will say about this is the fact that we have an actual, somewhat of a division, a women's division that don't revolve around four women. You know what I'm saying? It was cool to see all these women go out there and put on a solid show. Everyone had their showcasing. But what really surprised me, and I want to talk about this more.
Like, every one of those women had their time to shine. Like, you wanted Asuka to shine, you got it. You wanted Bailey to shine, you got it. You wanted Alexa, Bianca, or whatever, the Io Sky, Dakota Kai, any of them to shine, you got it. Like, it was literally, it was basically 6 of the best female superstars in the world right now, or at least in the WWE world, just doing their thing. That's pretty much what it was. And I love it. I think it's great. And they had a great match.
More than anything is Bailey pinning Bianca Belair. Now, I thought I was correct in my prediction that obviously Damage Control is weird.
Yeah, Damage Control did win. And I'm glad that they did, because I think that was the right choice, especially as they obviously lost the women's tag team tournament to friggin' Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez or Gonzalez or whatever. So now they're, women's tag team champs. Them two are, after beating that faction, which is a bit silly, because I don't think that should have happened, but at least the faction got their comeuppance on the night of Clash at the Castle with that win. I'm glad they did. Well deserved in every way. So, that's pretty good. Pretty good stuff in DDOs.
Calling them that, but Damage Control, they were going to win. It made sense. They lost the tournament, so they had to win here. And I was thinking maybe they would end up pinning maybe Alexa Bliss or Asuka. But no, Bailey pinned.
Yeah, surprisingly, Bianca was the one that got pinned. You would have thought that they would have had someone like Asuka get pinned just so you could, like, protect somebody like Bianca or whatever, but no. That is interesting. Surely that's going to lead to a women's title match again with Bayley and Bianca. Surely that's what we're building to. Because I feel like it is. Considering of what Bayley did with pinning Bianca on that night. I feel like that's what we're building to.
Pinned the champ. And it's looking like they're setting up that match for the next pay-per-view event. And I was very surprised by that. And normally
Yeah, and the next pay-per-view, by the way, is Extreme Rules, and you will expect... And trust me, guys, I will make a predictions video for that show. Unlike what happened with other shows like SummerSlam and the Cardiff show, I will make a predictions video for Extreme Rules. I'll make sure of it. Hopefully I don't have to be on hiatus or anything like that. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say I have problems with my headphones, let's say that doesn't happen, anything like that. Let's hope that doesn't happen, so I can bring you that Extreme Rules predictions video come next month, you know. But anyway, I digress. So, I think they are building Bianca versus Bayley for the Raw Women's title at that show, Extreme Rules. I think that's what we are building to. Which is interesting. I find it quite interesting that they did do that. But we'll see. Because they could just as easily do it on Raw. Now that it is obviously Triple H in charge. So, I mean, I won't put it past WWE to do that. So, there you go.
not a big fan of champions being pinned. I'm not. Granted, this is a multi-man match, so there was a lot of things that's going on. This wasn't a one-on-one situation. I'm normally not a big fan of that, but in this situation, I can kind of let it slide or whatnot. Because granted, I guess you could say this was a multi-woman match, and they're going to be setting up something obviously for the next pay-per-view,
Yeah.
for a one-on-one match. And I believe the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, unlike some of the other matches on this card, I feel like this one was only really to, build up storylines and all that jazz. Which is fine, that's absolutely fine. Because odds are it's going to have a great payoff. So, I mean, WWE definitely played their cards right with that. So, I mean, fair play to them.
Is Extreme Rules, so maybe it'll be a stipulation to that match. Who knows? But either way, I'm looking forward to seeing what Bianca and Bayley do, because I think they're gonna have, for them to rekindle their feud again on a one-on-one basis. I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be entertaining, and I'm looking forward to that. So the right
Yeah,
team
that should be
won
good stuff
damage
indeed.
control, and it was a solid match. I enjoyed it as a opener. All right, can we just give?
That's the same. That's the same as me. I think it was the perfect opener. Had a great time watching that match. Honestly, I knew it would be the perfect opener when I mentioned it on my predictions video. Not that you guys know, but still, that's besides the point. Point is, I knew it would be the perfect show opener for the show on that night, and it was. And it did end up being the opening show, or the opening match. And fair play to WWE, because they couldn't have chosen a better one edgeways. Simple as that.
A round of applause. If you're watching this, whatever device you're watching this on, just go ahead and give a round of applause for the Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and Sheamus. Honestly,
Sheamus and Gunther killed it, literally and figuratively. It was for the IC title, but honestly, I couldn't have gave a rat's smelly, ass if it was for a pinhead title or for like the garbage bin. Like those guys, title or not, they goddamn killed each other. Like literally, like those chops and those moves that Gunther and Sheamus were damn near killing each other with looked violent, bro. Like yeah, there was no fake news or fake anything with what they were doing. They were brawling like crazy. And the start of the match was amazing. With Imperium back together, with Butch and whatever the other guy's name is, fighting against the Imperium, with Sheamus and Gunther just staring across from one another, not breaking a sweat. Like that was such a cool visual. It was like the irresistible force meeting the immovable object, literally. Like best term I could give it. Literally. Like that match was amazing. Match of the night without a doubt. Those guys stole the damn show. And yeah, if that's gonna be one of Sheamus's last hurrahs, I don't freaking mind. Like, if he were to have retired or something like that after that match, I still wouldn't have minded. That match literally is one of my favourite matches that WWE has had all the year round. That is going to go on my top 10 favourite matches of this year, without a doubt. That match was so great. Yeah, a strong 10 out of 10, to be honest. A strong 10 out of 10. Like, those guys killed each other. Literally. Like, I'm not even joking with yous. Like, how them two are still walking is unfathomable. Literally unfathomable. I hope that those guys gain respect for each other after that fight. I hope. Because I already had respect for Sheamus, there's no doubt about that. But I have even more respect for him now. And Gunther has definitely earned my respect. So, I mean, fair play to both men. And they are men. Fighting like you do fight in a bar. Like, that was freaking well, not annoying, but amazing. But either way, it was awesome. It was awesome. Enjoyed every single second of it.
Personally, this on a wrestling standpoint, I think this match, in my opinion, it may be match of the night. It may be match of the night. I wouldn't complain if someone made this match of the night. This was so good. This easily may have been match of the night. I'm as I think about it more, between this and the main event, this may be match of the night for me, because it was so good. I expected it to be good. I expected it to be hard hitting. I expected it to be brutal, and it was fantastic. We got
Yeah, like, I expected it to be brutal. I expected it to be violent, hard hitting, hard to watch. And boy, oh boy, them two guys did not disappoint, because neither guy slouched in that match. Both men were literally trying to murder each other. Like, you put weapons in their hands, and honestly, RIP to the both of their careers, or to both of their careers. So, thank God it was just a somewhat normal title match. Thank God, because the last thing those two guys need is a pig-in weapon. Literally. I'm not even joking. God. That was amazing. An amazing match.
all of Imperium together now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that was in Imperium, they're there. They came out to the ring. I'm not sure the wrestler's name. Comment down below. But he was added to come, introduce Gunther or whatnot. And you had Sheamus and his guys with him or whatnot, and they just start brawling outside the ring. But Gunther and Sheamus, they just stared each other down, the bell rung, and then they got at it. When I say it was just brutal.
England, European champions!
Come on. There we go.
Like, they were lacerated, both of them. There's knife chops and just brutal beatings. They were stiff with the elbows and the...
To be completely honest, they were almost like knife chops. Like, I'm not even joking with you. Like, you think of a knife and how it can, like, chop your skin, right? Gunther's chops to Sheamus's chest on that night were the exact definition of, like, a knife chop, you know? Like, literally dictionary definition when it comes to pictures. Literally. And honestly, it was insane.
Kicks. I'm like, this is a fight. This is what I want to see. It was fantastic. Oh my God. If you haven't seen that IC title match, go watch it.
And Sheamus was, of course, making Gunther look strong, as obviously Sheamus is the veteran, Gunther is the new, you know, kid on the block. So I also did kind of like that. And it did seem like Sheamus was actually playing the face, as the commentators, I think, really gave the clear definition of. And it would have been nice to see Sheamus win the IC title. It really would have. Especially as that's the only thing that he hasn't won. But, I mean, it kind of had to go to Gunther, to be honest. I mean, you got to try and build the guy up and all that other jazz and there. That whole match built him up alone. Screw any of his other encounters. Literally, that match did more for Gunther than any match in his career. Literally. I'm not even joking with you. Like, that is how much I rate this match. It was amazing. Literally amazing.
You're going to be like, God damn, they are working stiff, and I love it every second of it. The crowd was pro Sheamus, and they loved every second of it. Crowd was just entertained. Ultimately, the right person won, in my opinion. I picked Gunther to win. He did retain because, you know, you want to make him a credible, strong IC title. So when he drops the belt, it's going to mean something. But at the end of the match, as you can see, the welts on Sheamus' chest back.
It's kind of like it's like the Roman Reigns situation. You want to try and build Roman up, so then whoever beats him, it means something, and then therefore they get that big rub that ultimately makes them into a superstar. So it's much the same with Gunther, kind of, really. So therefore, yeah, I would have probably picked Gunther to win, and I think I did in my prediction video. I can't remember, because like I said, it never got out to you guys. But point is, I'm glad that Gunther won, obviously, because you want to do all these things and build him up and, you know, so on and so forth. So no problems there.
Body. I think the story they went with was Sheamus' back was hurt, so he couldn't really hit his finish like he wanted to. His back was hurt, and that's what was able to get Gunther to capitalize. But at the end of the match, the crowd gave him a standing ovation, and it was a beautiful moment. Gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, like I like the storyline that they went with, but moving on to obviously the ovation. Yeah, Sheamus fought his ass off, literally. And Gunther obviously did the same, obviously. He wasn't no slouch either, but Sheamus, man. Yeah, he's been around the block just a few times. He's been around WWE for, dear Lord. Oh, dear Lord. Probably 12 or 13 years. So, yeah, he is cracking on a bit, and he can still go, there's no doubt about that, but I think he's at that stage of his career where it's like he deserves an ovation like that because he's kind of achieved legend status in a way. I mean, obviously he's not going to retire or anything like that, or at least I don't think so. So obviously he's not going to go into the Hall of Fame just yet, but I'm willing to bet when Sheamus does retire, he will go into the Hall of Fame. I mean, the guy's done everything, mostly. He's won the Royal Rumble, he's won King of the Ring, he's won, I think, Money in the Bank. He's won WWE Championship, he's won US titles, he's won probably tag team titles. He's just only not won IC title. So that's the thing, like, the guy's done practically everything you could possibly do in WWE almost. So he'll definitely get a Hall of Fame induction when he hangs the tights up, but he is at that stage of his career where he deserves those types of ovations. So, I mean, obviously fair play to Sheamus with all that in effect.
This was great. I love this match. It's hard hitting. Throughout the entire match, it's just brutal. It gives me the times where we check out the NXT UK clips and how, for whatever reason, the NXT UK, you guys are super stiff. This is all I saw. It was just straight stiff, and that was great.
Yeah,
Love
they
it,
were trying to kill each
Maybe
other.
literally.
Literally.
As I think about it more, this may be match of the night for me. This was so fantastic. It was so good, bro. All right, now the low point of the show, the very low point of the show, SmackDown's Women's Championship, Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. Now,
Okay, here's the deal about this match. SmackDown Women's Championship. Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. I'm glad that they didn't go for the whole Ronda Rousey cheat code and just have Liv get just eviscerated by Shayna, only for Liv to pull out a lucky upset. I'm glad they didn't do that, because I would have been a bit annoyed, but it was still kind of odd all the same, because Shayna was kind of killing Liv, and then for whatever reason, I think they were trying to tell the story of like, so Liv hits the recoil type move, and then the Oblivion, but Shayna couldn't quite recover in time for the Oblivion to be connected, so therefore she took that move, so therefore couldn't reverse out of that move, so therefore got pinned, and therefore Liv won. I think that's the story that they were trying to tell. Is it a good story? No. But, I mean, fair enough, we got Liv as champion some more. I'm fine with that. I love Liv as much as the next guy, and Gil, and Mom and Dad, and, you know, all that. But it kind of discredits Shayna in a way. But I realise that WWE wants to keep on the Liv trend and train, which, I mean, I'm glad about that. I want that to happen. Personally, I never want it to end, but it's gonna come sooner or later where it ends. Just a matter of when, obviously, as everybody and their mom knows. But yeah, so in that situation, the feud's been okay. Liv's obviously been presented as the underdog yet again, and the match was, it was kind of meh. I mean, it was okay, but at the same time, it's kind of like, what did I just see? So it just was kind of like meh. And where we'll go from here, God knows. I don't freaking know at all. So, we'll see. Other than the fact that Liv will probably defend her title at Extreme Rules, but apart from that, I ain't got no freaking clue what'll happen.
I picked Liv to win. I thought it was going to be some shenanigans, but no. Liv Morgan actually won clean. She won clean. There was no shenanigans. The match started off very one-sided. Crowd was kind of dead after the Intercontinental Championship match. And, you know, the crowd wasn't really too invested. They didn't get invested until Liv Morgan started pulling out some of her moves that she practiced with Matt Riddle, or like MMA.
Yeah, I did see the YouTube video while I was on holiday. Bearing in mind I had no Wi-Fi, by the way, so I wasn't able to catch a lot of SmackDown Raw on that week. But I did see one YouTube video one day where Liv was training with Matt Riddle with some of those mixed martial arts moves, and she did pull some of them out, which was kind of cool. Kind of cool that she did pull some of them out on Shayna, and that did get the fans going a little nuts, but before then it was a little bit mediocre when it comes to responses from the fans when the match did get on the way. Which I can see that, because that Intercontinental title match was insane. So, yeah, it's, yeah, like I said, the match is just meh, but it is what it is.
Style moves.
And I mean meh for me personally, by the way, guys, for the record.
Like, she was able to get the win on counters. Like, she was trying to pull out an arm bar, a triangle choke. I'm like, okay. I mean, I do appreciate the fact that she did go out there and, you know, she didn't give up. So, it's just one of those things where it was like, I was really surprised that she beat Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler, the Shayna Baszler that we love from NXT, she beat her legit in the ring. So I don't know what they're doing with this, where they're trying to take this story. I know Ronda is still in the mix, so it'll be interesting to see what happened there. But
yeah,
hey, kudos to Triple H for at least wanting her to have someone trying to build up a decent reign for her. I know some people are now not really caring too much for Liv, but it maybe this can be a turn of new things, you know. I mean, granted, some people find it hard to believe, oh, she can beat Shayna Baszler.
I mean, yes, I find it hard to believe that she did beat Shayna Baszler, but then again, Shayna's not had the greatest last couple of years in the WWE, as it were. So, I mean, same stuff as always, nothing new. So, there you go. And furthermore, if all that wasn't enough, I do appreciate Trips trying to help out Liv with her title reign by giving her that win and all that. Like, I think Triple H does know what he's doing in that aspect, so I do trust that it'll come out the way that he visions it, and therefore it won't look as odd as it may do right now for a lot of people. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. But it's one of those things where I think it's just best to leave it to chance and just see where Triple H takes this whole situation and what he can build off of it that could actually be, you know, decent. So, I mean, we'll leave it to chance. Or at least I know I will. Don't know about you guys, but I know I will. But, yeah, so I'll leave it to chance and we'll see what comes out of it, obviously. Having said that.
But at the end of the day, that's the decision that they went with. I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I do think she will drop the title relatively soon. Maybe
Ready for whatever life throws at it. Oak Furnitureland sofas. Feel the real difference.
be at the next pay-per-view, or maybe they want to have her as a long-term champion. Who knows? But ultimately, this match was...
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that advert, but I don't know whether they will have her drop it at the next pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. I don't know. like I said, we'll just have to see. And, you know, leave it to chance. So, I mean, there you go. So, I guess we best stay tuned to SmackDown, obviously, to see what comes of this situation. And it's not even a situation, it's just a thing, I guess. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, there you go.
And it for me, it picked up towards the end when Liv Morgan started to get some more offense. But outside of that, it was a one-sided affair. It was kind of dull. I didn't really too much care, and a lot of the people in the chat and in the crowd wasn't as excited. But ultimately, Liv Morgan got the win there. So this was probably the lowest point of the show. It wasn't awful, but it's not something I'm gonna go back to watch if I watch this pay-per-view again. Now, a match that really surprised me and I enjoyed so much: Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day, Finn Balor.
This was a great match. Edge, Rey, Dom versus the Judgment Day. This was a cracking match. I absolutely loved this match. Edge had a sick-ass attire. Rey had a great attire as well. But then again, Rey always has great attires, so I mean, it's just another day at the office, but for Rey. But so he fought. I'll get to what I'm talking about in a minute, even though you guys know what I'm gonna say anyway. So the match happens. Great match, right? Like Rey shows up and shows out. Edge does his thing and literally pops the crowd just like that. Dom is at ringside and he's getting beaten up by Rhea Ripley. Rey goes after Rhea Ripley, which was a really cool spot. And it was pretty cool how they had Dom as a shield, so it was actually not promoting women's violence. So, I mean, very clever on the part of WWE. I'm not going to lie. But, point is, that happened. Great spot. Edge did his thing. Great spot. To Damian Priest, anyway. With the spear off the ropes. Great spot. And came out of nowhere. And Edge and Rey got the W. Which was a little bit surprising, but I think I did say that I wanted them to win, so I mean, yay. But it's what happened after the match that has got fans talking. And that's the heel turn of Dominic. Finally, WWE actually pulled the trigger. Been asking for it and begging for it for like 2 long years or whatever. And they finally did it. Finally. Thank the Holy Grail for that. Literally. Thank God. Oh my Lord. So glad that happened. He kicked Edge in the balls and then clotheslined his own father. Loved every second of it. And it was shocking, to say the very least. Like, my jaw was dropped. Literally. I could not believe it. That was, like, literally, right as Edge's expression changed when he got kicked in the nuts, was when my expression changed. Literally at the same time. Like, it was insane to witness live. Literally insane. I'm not even joking here. And of course, Don's been sparking up those heel tactics with Rhea and Finn and Priest and company. And now they've injured Edge and obviously took out Rey. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Now, Dom's a part of Judgment Day. Really excited to see how that goes.
Damian Priest and of course Rhea Ripley was out there, and if you watched the chat or was watching the live stream, oh, it was so great to see Rhea Ripley get just some justice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First things first, I got to talk about Edge coming out there with the Rey Mysterio. Oh, not Rey Mysterio mask, but the Luchador mask. I thought that was a pretty cool touch. This match,
Yeah, that was
fun.
cool too.
Crowd was super pro Edge. I mean,
Yeah, like, they loved the hell out of Edge. And I love Edge. It's amazing seeing him in the ring even to this day. It's amazing. And, yeah. And it was cool seeing him wear that Luchador mask. I actually thought that he was going to wear that for the actual match itself, but he took it off in the end. But, needless to say, it was a cool touch to his already sick attire. So, Mattel, if you're watching, let's have that Edge Clash at the Castle attire made in figure form, please. That would be awesome. I would love that. Interchangeable head as well. That would be great too. With the jacket as well.
loved Edge. It was fantastic to see. They love Ray. You know, Dominic was out there as well, but Edge was the main event. And I want to talk about the ending sequence because that's what everyone is really focusing on. So
yeah,
we're thinking, all right, Dominic is gonna at some point get involved. I'm thinking maybe he's gonna cause them to lose the match, right? Cause Ray and Edge to lose the match. Actually, Dominic.
You would think that they would cost them the match, but he didn't. He went rogue and kicked Edge in the balls and then clotheslined Ray after the match.
Was doing the decoy. Like, he was distracting the ref, which allowed Edge and Rey Mysterio to capitalize on a Finn Balor. It was a nice exchange. I also want to give a nice little highlight to Edge hitting the 619. That was pretty cool to see. But it was.
Yeah, that definitely got a rise out of me. That was awesome. Seeing Edge hit the 619. That was bloody brilliant. I loved that. That was awesome. Yeah, it definitely was one of the highlights of the match itself. For sure.
Giving the open opportunity for Edge and Rey Mysterio to get the dub, bro. Oh, bro. It was a nice, beautiful moment. That spear that Edge hit on Finn Balor was fan-fucking-tastic, bro. It looked brutal as hell.
One of Edge's best finish-ending spears of all time was what he delivered to Finn Balor on that night. Great spear.
And he got the 1-2-3 pin, right? Oh, and I got to talk about this moment too. So, obviously, Rhea Ripley is doing Rhea Ripley things. Rhea Ripley starts beating the crap out of Dominic, which was starting to piss me off. I'm like, bro, Dominic is getting manhandled, legit, outside. Ray comes out there and says, screw that, dives on to Rhea and Dominic, which causes Rhea to hit the guardrail, which I was like, yes, finally, equal rights, equal fights. I love it, man. This was so great just to see that moment. Ultimately, Finn Balor was, distracted by it, and Edge was able to hit the beautiful spear on Finn Balor. So, after this, everybody's celebrating. It's a good feel moment.
You know that Janet? Where it is? She's shaving the whole lot.
Crowd's loving it. All of a sudden, Dominic kicked.
Yeah, that was a good moment. Seeing Rhea get, her justice, or her judgment day, if you will. God, Punch, you gotta love him. Yeah. I'm only getting better and better as the time rolls on, guys, with those. But, or so they say. But either way, so, yeah, that was a cool moment to see Ray dive onto Dom and have Rhea go and landing on the guard railing. That was a cool moment. That was a very, very cool moment.
Edge with a low blow just kicks him straight in the jewels. Ray's like, yo, what are you doing, son? What are you doing? And then all of a sudden, Dominic decides to clothesline Rey Mysterio, his own pops. You got the Judgment Day on the ring apron laughing after they lost, but they're laughing at.
Yeah, they were laughing like they were watching a comedy show or something. Then they were laughing. Oh my god, they were laughing their asses off at the thought of Dom doing that. That was a good highlight of that moment.
At them, and everyone's just booing Dominic. I mean, giving him good heat. I'm talking about booing the crap out of him. I was shocked that I had a feeling they were gonna probably turn him heel because
Yeah, I was amazed at the heel heat that Dom got in that moment. That was wow. Holy hell. Like, oh my god. That was insanity. Like, I don't know what I was more shocked by, the heel turn itself or how much heat Dom got on for that moment in such a short span of time. Like, that was so shocking.
Setup was there. I was still somewhat shocked on how they pulled it off. I honestly thought the heel turn was going to come from Dominic screwing over Edge and his dad, but he helped them win only to screw them over in the end, to turn his back on them in the end. And I like that, and I want to see what they do with him. This is their opportunity because I think we can all agree Dominic as a face doesn't work. He doesn't have that charisma. He doesn't have that character. No one buys into it. No one cares.
Yeah, I know that I haven't really cared much either. Like, I've been saying for so damn long that he needs a character or a character change. And finally they've actually listened. And therefore now he's a heel and he's actually doing grand stuff right now. As of Clash at the Castle and Monday Night Raw. So, yeah, brilliant stuff.
No one cares about Dominic as a face, but as a heel against a beloved Rey Mysterio, I think that could do something. I think that could be something. So
yeah, that has
book it
incredible
right, and if he's
potential.
able to really get into his evil bag, we may actually start caring about Dominic, and I'm all for it. So I'm glad they did the heel turn. It's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward. But I enjoyed this match. The ending was exciting. I love the heel turn. This was a very, very, very good match. Go watch this tag match. It was fun. You definitely will.
The match was great. The heel turn was freaking awesome. And, yeah. Great stuff all around with this part of the show. Great stuff.
Enjoy it. Now, the match that a lot of us anticipated, a lot of us was waiting to see, Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle. I was not expecting them to actually have an actual wrestling match. And god dang it, it was great. This match was fantastic.
Yeah, Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. The feud has been goddamn amazing. Literally. Bye-bye, PG, TV PG. Like, honestly, they have said things that, honestly, oh my god. It's insane, bro. Feud was amazing. The match was equally as amazing. And I damn well hope that this feud continues. Seriously. This feud has to continue. Honestly, really, really does. Because I think they can still do more with this feud. Because think about it. Vince started the feud, right? Triple H took control in the creative mindset of the feud once Vince retired. Triple H holded out the match at SummerSlam for this event, Clash at the Castle, to enhance it. And look where we are now. the feud was goddamn amazing. So, and the match has been amazing. So I don't see why you shouldn't continue a feud like that. Like, honestly, this has the potential to actually have a Hell in a Cell match. Literally. This has the potential. And if they, legitimately, if they have a Hell in a Cell match between them two at Extreme Rules, that is gonna be epic, bro. Literally. That has every right to be the main event if Roman isn't on the show. Which I've heard rumours from, well, one person did hear rumours about Roman not being at Extreme Rules, and therefore that person told me so. So obviously, you know who you are if you told me that. That being, of course, Firefly from C Wrestling Discord. So shout out to you, buddy. And yeah, so he told me that apparently there's some rumours of Reigns not appearing at Extreme Rules. So if he doesn't appear, just book a Hell in a Cell match with Matt and Seth, and then you're all good. Simple as that. And have that as your main event. Because, honestly, if you give them that room to play in, they will kill each other. And it'll be great. Honestly. That's where I hope we'll go from here after that match that they had at Clash. That's where I hope we'll go from here. Is it will build up even more to a Hell in a Cell match at Extreme Rules.
This match was so damn good, bro. So many near falls. The one near fall that got me was the pedigree and Matt Riddle just barely getting his shoulder up.
Yeah, there was great near falls. There was like near falls from stuff like their finishers, like pedigree and the bro Derek. So there was a lot of great back and forth and a lot of great storytelling and a lot of great near falls.
When he hit the pedigree, I'm like, oh, bro, this is just great. It's like I like how they would counter each other moves. Like Seth Rollins would go for the top rope. I want to say it's like I'm not sure if it's a suplex, but he go basically when he hits the Falcon Arrow, like goes to the top rope, he hits it, and then he goes into the Falcon Arrow. But obviously Matt Riddle knows that, so he was able to counter it. I also love the nods to Randy Orton with hitting Matt Riddle with the second rope DDT and also doing the little Viper pose to attack.
Yeah, that got Seth some pretty decent heel heat, but even then, I don't remember the fans ever booing that because they serenaded the match, literally serenaded Seth Rollins' theme song throughout the entire match. So it was like a musical tone collision course, literally, basically. Thanks to the fans, literally. Because they were just singing Seth Rollins' theme song the entire match, kind of, which was awesome.
Matt Riddle.
So they were alive and well for that match.
The back and forth
big time.
I also love the fact that Seth Rollins is such a rogue son of a you know what. He was still talking trash. It's like, bro, you're a loser. That's why your wife left you. That's why your kids don't want to be around you. I'm like, bro, he's getting in his head, and this was...
The master manipulator Seth Rollins strikes again. With his son of a you-know-what buffoonery. Yeah, those killer dialogue lines of what Seth said to Matt Riddle were gold. Great storytelling.
I loved about
nice
that
little callback to Raw
because at this point,
before that match.
Matt Riddle loses it. He loses his composure. Seth Rollins knows this. He starts giving.
Yeah, it was a great callback to their war of words on the Raw before the Cardiff show. Like, Great callback.
Been Seth Rollins the beats. He literally goes out there. He's about to get disqualified, which I'm all for. He's about to get disqualified. He goes out there, gets a steel chair, and about to end Seth Rollins.
Yeah, they should have had. Yeah, they should have had them get disqualified, both of them. But they just had them have kind of a, not necessarily normal match, but a match with a clear, decisive winner. Well, not so much decisive, but a clear-cut winner. Well, not winner, but win, kind of. Which, I mean, that's fine, because the match was still amazing. But they did have one spot where Matt Riddle was going rogue, was going to try and kill Seth Rollins with a chair, while his head was on the announce table thing. And, yeah. Great spot. He didn't deliver the move, but it was a great spot. Seth just moved out the way and then some. But it was a great spot.
Career. And this is after he didn't bash Seth Rollins' head into the announce table over and over and over. He's about to end him. He misses, gets back into the ring, and then he ends up getting caught. And this wasn't even just no regular curb stomp. Seth Rollins goes to the second rope, extra height, hits the curb stomp on Matt Riddle, wins it clean. 1, 2, 3. Seth didn't cheat. He wins it clean. But this ain't over. I don't want this to be over. This does not need to be over. Matt Riddle.
Yeah, I don't want this to be over. This doesn't need to be over. We need a Hell in a Cell match against these two. And I think Extreme Rules is the place to do it, in my opinion. So, I'm down for that to occur.
Needs to get he has to get this win in this feud. I knew they were gonna give it to Seth because Seth needs a pay-per-view win. He definitely needs a pay-per-view win at this point. So this was good in the sense of at least.
Yeah, Seth has gained quite a few big pay-per-view losses this year, so he kind of did need this. So I'm glad that he did win all the same. But that's not really a big deal. Point is, we need this feud to continue. Need it in Hell in a Cell. And Extreme Rules is the place to do it, in my opinion.
He's starting off a feud, or for the most part, with the win. So I'm okay with that. They need to extend this. Extreme Rules is the next pay-per-view. This needs to be some type of stipulation. This calls for it. They had a regular match. I know Matt Riddle is not done with him. If I'm Matt Riddle, I see him on Monday Night Raw. The stuff you said, I'm going to get my pound of flesh before he can even finish like a promo. Matt Riddle is attacking him, puts him in a chokehold. They have to get referees out there. I'm not done with you, bro. We're going to either have a Hell in a Cell. We're going to have a Falls Count Anywhere match. We need to go extreme. We need to have a first a tables match, a set on fire table match. Whoever falls through the flaming table loses. We need to have a flaming table match. Let's get it going. Triple H, they hate each other. I'm pretty sure one of them would love to see the other one in a flaming table. But yeah, man,
I mean, personally, I'll stick with the Hell in a Cell match because it's not like they can get out flaming tables in that match. So, I mean, I'll stick with the Hell in a Cell match idea that I thought of. So, there you go.
Enjoyed this match. This was really good. I thought it was going to be some type of screwy finish or a disqualification, but they had a legit full match. Enjoyed it. Go watch it. You will definitely enjoy it as well. And the crowd was into this. This was fantastic. And finally, the main event, the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship match.
Okay, finally we have the main event. So, Undisputed Tag Team Championship, Undisputed Universal Championships or whatever. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre in Drew McIntyre's kind of hometown. And, yeah, this match was a good match. A very, very good match. And, yeah, we'll get straight into it. We'll break it down in sections because it's, yeah, it's going to be kind of lengthy.
Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Where do we begin? So first and foremost, we have to talk about Drew's pre-entrance. What they did was they had...
His pre-entrance got me excited, man. Like, to hear... Try not to get a tiny bit emotional. But to hear Broken Dreams after all these years is... Oh my god. I was like, they did it, they did it, they did it! I was so happy. I was so damn happy to see that. It was so cool. Oh man. And they showed Drew McIntyre through the ages up until the modern day, which I thought was very, very cool. Very, very cool indeed.
The Titantron show his old entrance, the Broken Dreams entrance. And what was cool about that is the fact that them using a Broken Dreams entrance, getting the crowd high, going through the visual, Titantron package, and then him coming out to his entrance that he has now. It was a nice way to let the fans know, like, I know, obviously people knew, like, the WWE, everybody knew what was being said on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Like, we want to see Broken Dreams. It only makes sense. So the fact,
yeah, it was being teased for a good while, and I'm glad that, yeah, it was just great to see the payoff, especially live, obviously. Can't imagine how amazing it was for the audience live, though. But, yeah, it was awesome.
the fact that they did that, but he didn't come out to it. It was just a pre-intro to his entrance. Was a cool, nice little nod and gesture that WWE did for the fans, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great.
What can I say about this match, man? This was fun. This was fucking fun. I was on an emotional roller coaster because I did not know what was going to happen. It had a big...
Yeah, this match was a great match. Like, honestly, this match could have gone either way. Literally, either way. Karrion Kross showed up at one point, which, okay, he was in the crowd, so he was like a paid fan basically, and yeah, I think he got escorted out at one point. I didn't end up seeing some of the match because the Wi-Fi in my house decided to be really, really kind of crappy, so therefore I didn't get to see, everything, but I at least saw the big highlights and, the ending. So, I mean, better than nothing, I suppose, but I will watch that match back fully. And, yeah, I'll see what that other bit was, but it doesn't matter. So, that happens with the whole Karrion Kross thing, right? And then, later on, Theory comes out. He's gonna make a cash in. Didn't even realize he was even in the goddamn building. Much less had a match. Much less was going to cash in. And then Tyson Fury, one of the best boxers in the UK, especially, ends up knocking Theory out, which was great. I was so glad that Tyson did that. I was like, thank you, Tyson, I love you. Because, obviously, we would have wanted Reigns and Drew to fight out one-on-one. And, yeah, I'm glad that we got that some more before the actual ending occurred, which we will talk about.
Big fight feel. The crowd, this was one of the first times in a long time the crowd was anti-Roman. This was all Drew the entire time. Roman came out there by.
Yeah, like here's the deal. Like, I was thinking logically before the match kicked into gear and Broken Dreams happened and all these other things, and then I was biased. I was so biased. I was like, Drew, come on, let's see you kick Roman's ass. Like, you know, like, I was so damn biased. It was insane. Oh man, it was goddamn insane.
Himself. No Usos, no Paul Heyman, but he wasn't really by himself. Earlier in the show, Tyson Fury was talking to Roman. There was a segment of just them talking in the back. That was it. Don't know what they were talking about, but he was talking in the back. Tyson Fury sitting like front row behind the commentator's booth, whatever. That plays into later on in the match. So, match is getting on the way. It was slow. People were hyped, but Roman knows how to slow down a match, make it methodical, and then waits for the baby.
Yeah, Roman is a king at that. Making a match methodical, trying to slow it down, trying to get the fans to will up Drew McIntyre, or even more in this case, and really, really tell that story. Reigns is a master at that these days. And, yeah, that was all on display on that night in Cardiff. Definitely.
Face to try to get that comeback, and that's literally what it was. There was one point he kicked out of one spear. I'm like, all right, cool. I thought it looked like it was almost over, but all right, cool. He kicked out of it. They were like running the ropes, and he kicked out of a second spear. I was like, oh, it got to be over. That almost got me. Like this, I'm sure this may be it. Nope. He kicked out of two. I was like, okay, this is just truly insane right now. Like, it was getting better. It's like there was levels.
Yeah, literally, the match was getting better as like the longer this match went, the better it got. Literally, like, spear after spear, Drew kicks out. Like, honestly, man, like, I was hanging on every finisher that was done in that match. Literally, biting at every finisher that either Drew or Reigns did. Like, honestly, it was insane, man. Adrenaline rush like no other. It was great.
To the excitement of what was happening in the ring, bro. Of course, you knew there was going to be at some point a guillotine spot, and Drew was gonna fight out of that. Crowd was getting hyped, and then a referee spot. I knew it was gonna be some type of shenanigans with the referee spot. Drew ends up setting up for the Claymore, and the ref ends up getting knocked or whatnot. And when I say, bro, it was just, you didn't know what was gonna happen. Once that happened, then you had Austin Theory come down, run down the ramp with a referee. Crowd's going crazy. I'm like, bro, is he gonna cash in? And this is where Tyson Fury comes into play. He was by the timekeeper's area.
Yeah, literally. I was like, no, there is no way this scumbag is gonna actually cash in that briefcase of his. Oh man, yeah, I couldn't believe it, but it was also quite funny to kind of watch. It really, really was.
He's about to cash in. Tyson Fury knocks out Austin Theory, sends him to the gulags. It's like every time Austin Theory tries to cash in, he just gets sent right back to the gulags. It was a funny moment. So
yeah,
is the moment
it was
right
great.
here for me, where for the first time in a very long time, I think in Roman Reigns' entire this run he's had now, I actually thought Roman was about to lose. So everybody's down. Everybody's down and out, even Austin.
I was pulling for his demise as well, and I legit figured that he was gonna lose. But here's where the ending comes into play, and I'm a bit annoyed that Reigns did win in that situation. But either way, here's where the ending actually does come into play here.
In theory, down and out. They end up setting up. They end up getting back into it, and Drew McIntyre hits Roman Reigns with a fucking spear, bro. He hits him with his own fucking finisher. And I'm
That
like,
was awesome.
Oh shit. This is it. This is it. And then he ends up hitting him.
Yeah, I got so damn hyped. That was insane. Oh my god. It was so damn insane. Like the electricity, I bet, in that arena was palpable. Was literally palpable to literally say the least. I bet.
With the Claymore, I'm like, oh my god, this is it. He's about to win. There was no one else there. No one else there. No one by ringside or whatnot. I'm like, bro, this is it. He's about to win. There's the other referee that came out with Austin Theory. He was there. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is it. 1, 2. I'm losing my shit at this point. I'm like, bro, he's about to fucking overcome the odds. They're gonna pull an audible. Right when he's about to hit 3, ref gets pulled out. You see the hooded figure.
Yeah, he literally gets yoinked out of the ring by this mysterious figure in a hoodie. And you'll see how it is in a minute. Even though you already know.
Oh, that's the Usos brother. Solo Sika, man. He comes out, he's shaking his head. He takes his hood off, he's shaking his head. Everyone's shocked. Drew tries to...
Yeah, like everybody and me and whatever, like everybody was pretty shocked. Like honestly, that was quite the moment. And I wasn't happy, to say the least. Obviously, that's what WWE would have wanted. So I mean, fair play to them for obviously doing what they did. Fair play to them. Oh god, fair play to them. Sorry about that yawn, guys, but yeah, fair play to them. They obviously did what they obviously got what they wanted out of it, which was for fans to be shocked, annoyed, or whatever. You know, that's obviously what they wanted. But fair play to them in that case. They did it well. They did that spot well. And yeah, Solo Sikoa, or whatever his last name is, comes out. He's revealed, obviously, as the Usos' younger brother, because everybody knows that. And I think he was on NXT before then, so he's, I think, on the main roster now. And he goes at Drew. Drew, I think, takes him down, but after that gets speared into oblivion, and Roman finally retains.
Attack him, but ultimately had his back turned to Roman. Roman ends up capitalizing, of course.
You know that Janet? Where it is, she's shaving the whole lot.
And Roman ends up winning the match, man. 1, 2, 3. Of course, screwy finish. But now we have the introduction of the Usos' younger brother, Solo Sika, which makes sense now. The bloodline is even stronger. And I'm not going to lie to you, I enjoyed this match so much. I enjoyed this more than I expected to, because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I know there's some people that are like, oh, this sucks. It's the same thing with Roman. It's just now it's somebody different. I get it. I understand. Ultimately, the end goal, I think, is Cody. I think Cody is the end goal. And I've been saying this. As long as the Usos have the titles, they're not.
Yeah, I guess in hindsight, yeah. Because it wouldn't make sense for Roman to obviously lose his titles before the Usos. So the Usos want to try and like lose their titles at, let's say, like, I don't know, Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber or Fastlane or hell, even WrestleMania like night 1 or something, and then you have night 2 be the main event, Cody versus Roman for the championships, and then Cody gets his crowning moment. Like, you know, like that's what I feel like they're building towards. If they can't get The Rock, obviously. If they do get The Rock, then obviously they're going to scrap those plans, and we're going to get the dream match of a lifetime, and really the dream match of the century. So, yeah, if they can get The Rock, awesome. If they can't, it's fine, because I think they'll just go for the well with Cody, basically. So, yeah, that's what I believe will happen.
Roman's not losing. Once the Usos drop them titles, then and only then, that's when things start. That's when the dissension of the bloodline happens. Once the Usos drop the straps, the dissension of the bloodline will start to happen. Best believe. That's the one reason that I was like, it only makes sense if Roman wins, because if Roman loses the title, but his brother, his cousins still have theirs, doesn't make him the head of the table now, does it? You don't have championship. His gimmick relies on him having a championship at this point. So, I know.
Yeah, I can see why he's saying that, because, I mean, like, Roman's built this gimmick up for well over 2 years, and now it just holds a lot more prestige when you get a title around it, and therefore I don't see any reason to let that prestige go. So, there you go. That's how I obviously feel about that whole shindig.
That's where they want to take this story. Cody Rhodes being potentially the one to take the titles off of him. Now, you're probably asking, damn, how they're going to build up interesting matches all the way to the Royal Rumble. Well, we don't know when Cody will return. He may return sooner. Who knows? But ultimately, either for me personally, the right person won. Would I have gotten mad if Drew would have won? No, I probably would have marked out and lost my shit because I would have been so surprised. But either way,
I mean, I'm a little bit annoyed that Reigns did retain, but I mean, like, in hindsight, I think it is for the best. But I would have loved it if Drew had actually won it. That would have been a story for the ages, literally.
Put on a very good match, and it was an emotional roller coaster. I loved it. Now we have Solo Sikoa into the mix. I want to see what's going to happen on SmackDown, how things are going to play out. This also has me excited for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, Raw, as far as I can tell, it is great. It was a great show, as far as I know so far. Especially as obviously we got the return of Braun Strowman. And SmackDown, I think, will be good. I think. Now that you've obviously got the situation with Solo Sikoa now joining the Bloodline and him explaining his action and, you know, typical WWE knowledge. So, yeah. I imagine that will be what will be at play on Friday night. So, I mean, cool. That should make the show good stuff. And, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued.
As well, with some of these storylines potentially leading into Extreme Rules, man. But, hey, I enjoyed this pay-per-view, bro. This is so fucking fun. This was very, very fun. I know I didn't go into great detail on what happened in every single match.
Yeah, great match with Drew and Roman. Shocking surprise, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I basically already said my thoughts now. Or now, obviously. And, yeah. In terms of what I would rate the show out of 10, honestly, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10, I think. The very, very great show. Very enjoyable, very fun. UK fans were alive and well like never before, in my opinion. And yeah, it was great, and definitely a great return to the UK when it comes to premium live events after 3 decades of not having one in the UK since the British Bulldog and Bret the Hitman Hart. So, yeah, RIP the British Bulldog, by the way. But, yeah, so, great show, and looking forward to Extreme Rules, looking forward to watching the full extent of Raw, and hopefully SmackDown, and, yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, then like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, favorite the videos. If we could get up to 150 likes, that'll be great. And yeah, ciao guys.